During the broadcast, please call the Oregon Studio hotline at 336-831-0864. Station's your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
This is Duck Insider.
Duck's gonna pick it up, and here we go. Got him deep. He's open. He's got it. And he's gone.
How about that?
Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
Duarte pulls up, 3-ball. Bang!
LJ Figueroa!
Oregon goes back-to-back for the fourth time in the last 6 years. The Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
Foley three. Goal! Foley bomb. Mike Sill fires and hits a three. Left wing. Pow. Yeah, boom, boom.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
What a weekend.
We're just getting started.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
It is the best day in sports radio, and it's not even close. March Madness is officially here. I am stoked to be here to tell you about so many different things. First of all, the Ducks are heading to March Madness. Did it go as well as they would have liked in Las Vegas? No, it didn't. And that's unfortunate. But they're still heading to March Madness, which is awesome. We're going to hear from a lot of different people on the show today, including head coach Dana Altman, also Eugene Omarui. They met with the media after the selection was announced, so we have that for you coming up. And how about indoor track and field national champions? You like the ring of that? The men just absolutely dominated the field. I mean, this wasn't even close. So many individual winners. They racked up 79 points, which is the second highest score in meet history and the highest total since 1994. Tremendous accomplishment for Robert Johnson and his squad. Oregon baseball with a series win at Oregon State this weekend. Oregon softball in action. Women's soccer with a dramatic win. Man. And we have a game time for you. The Ducks will play in the last game of the first round on Saturday. A 6:57 p.m. Pacific time tip on TNT. That means a 6:30 pregame show here on the Oregon Sports Network. The bracket is out. Gonzaga, the number 1 overall seed in the West, and Oregon will be in the West region as the 7 seed against VCU. Virginia Commonwealth. We will talk about the Rams coming up in a little while. The runner-up in their conference, the number 10 seed VCU. Should Oregon win in the West region opener, the Ducks would advance to take on Iowa, the 2 seed with one of the best players in the country in Luka Garza. We'll talk about that, though. Let's just say, not that we're looking ahead or anything. Not that I've done any research on Iowa and Grand Canyon, mind you. But should the Ducks advance, Iowa's been a little banged up, actually. And Grand Canyon, maybe they'll pull the upset. You never know. Stranger things have happened in a 15-2 matchup. Also, I saw this over the weekend. Do you guys know that the 9 seed actually has a higher winning percentage than the 8 seed in the 8-9 game? Yeah, kind of odd, huh? So it's Gonzaga against the winner of Appalachian State and Norfolk State. Then Oklahoma and Missouri are the 8-9 game in the West region. Creighton against, I think, somebody who could end up being the darling of the tournament in the 12th seed UC Santa Barbara. The Gauchos, I'm telling you, everybody, I've watched them play a couple times this year. They're really good. Number 4, Virginia. Number 13, Ohio. I'm already looking ahead. And then, kind of interesting, USC is the 6th seed above the Ducks in the West region. They'll play the winner of the play-in game between Wichita State and Drake in that 6-11 game. And then it's number 3 Kansas against number 14 Eastern Washington, a team in Eastern Washington that was on the Ducks schedule this year. How about that? And then Iowa, Grand Canyon in the 2-15, and then Oregon and VCU, the 7 and the 10. We'll go through the rest of the bracket, but that's the West region as it sits, which, I'm so awesome. DB already asking, can we get a 2021 candy bracket this week? DB, man, I really appreciate that. So I famously made a bracket of the 64 best candies. It was very controversial. Our man Craig Pittons, who's now the athletic director at Loyola Marymount, big candy guy, so we had a little fun with that. I don't know if I can – has there been any new candy? Can I reinvent the candy bracket? Probably not. All right, everybody. This is the easiest day in sports radio, mostly because I get to sit here and just break down the bracket with you. So – before we get into our scouting report on the Rams, we talk about the Pac-12. How does everybody feel? What's your matchup to watch? Those of you who are watching live via the GoDucks YouTube right now, maybe you're on GoDucks Facebook or watching live on YouTube, so both of those. Or if you're on the Oregon Sports Network Twitter, what are you guys thinking? What are your matchups to watch? Everybody's got the game circled on their bracket. I kind of gave mine away. I think UC Santa Barbara is going to beat Creighton. Sorry to Coach Altman's previous team. I think that UC Santa Barbara is pretty good. I think they're a very good squad. So the Ducks will play in the final game of the first round, Saturday, 6:57 p.m. tip on TNT, 6:30 pregame show here on the Oregon Sports Network. They're the last game. I will bet you they do not tip at 6:57. It never happens. The games never tip on time, so we'll go on the air for a 6:30 pregame show. We'll hear from Coach Altman, and a reminder to everybody, no online radio feeds from us, unfortunately. Due to NCAA contracts, we will not have a tune-in feed or a GoDucks app or GoDucks.com feed for you. I wish that was different. Unfortunately, I don't make enough money to pay off the contract to make that possible for everybody. I wish I did. The Pac-12, let's go through it. Number 5, Colorado. I like where Colorado got slotted as a seed. I don't like who they're playing in Georgetown. Georgetown might be one of the hottest teams in the country heading into the NCAA tournament. So the Buffs in the East region are going to be the 5 seed, and I will almost guarantee you, because everybody always has to pick a 12-5 upset, right? I'm guaranteeing you that in all the different brackets across the country, Georgetown is going to be the most picked. I really think Georgetown's going to be the most picked. 1, because Pac-12. 2, because Georgetown, I think, is kind of going to end up being a darling of this tournament as well. We'll see what happens with Patrick Ewing after, I guess, Madison Square Garden security didn't know who he was. It was this whole thing. You can Google it if you want to figure that out. And then USC, we mentioned, they're in Oregon's region, and they're going to have to wait to see who they play based on the West region play-in game. Oregon is a number 7. Then number 11, we've got UCLA. A play-in against Michigan State. They're going to be the play-in game in the East region. BYU, who gave Gonzaga a heck of a game in the conference tournament championship. Michigan State and UCLA, you get 2 blue bloods who are playing in the final game of the first 4, which, by the way, that is on Thursday this year. The first 4 will take place on Thursday. Then the first round, second round, I don't know what to call it. Technically, it's the first round after the first 4, but it's really the second round because there's games played in a round before it. There's a play-in round. Then you get the first round on Friday and Saturday. So the Ducks are playing on Saturday, and it's unique. Usually the first round is Thursday, Friday. Second round is Saturday, Sunday. Everything's sliding back a little bit to adhere to COVID protocols. So the first 4 games will take place on Thursday, and Michigan State, UCLA will be the last game for that. And then Oregon State. Of course, after the victory over the Ducks, and we'll talk about that in just a second, Oregon State will take on Tennessee in a game that I don't think is going to be a big 5-12 pick'em. I would be surprised if you end up in the Midwest region with a lot of people picking Oregon State over Tennessee. But you never know. Beavers are similar to Georgetown. They're kind of the same story, to be honest. Make a run in their conference tournament, maybe steal a bid from somebody else, and congrats to the Beavers, man. Seriously, Beavs played really well. So the Ducks are coming off that loss to Oregon State. Didn't go their way, and I think you got to give a lot of credit to Oregon State. They played well. Ducks didn't. It looked like Oregon kind of ran out of gas to me. And so Coach Altman would say, yeah, that can't be an excuse. You know, yeah, they had to play a lot of games down the stretch. Ducks were trying their best to manage their bench, and Coach Altman had even said he got a little conservative with his rotations. And, yeah, I don't know. I think that you got to give credit to Oregon State. Played well. And the Ducks just couldn't get out of the mud, as Coach Altman said. So now you got to learn from it. How do you do that? Well, you got a few days to practice, and you got a few days to prepare for a team in VCU because there's no common opponents. These two teams have not played together in a really long time. And finally, my last thing for rebounding, I think that Coach Altman, as you hear from him coming up in just a moment, you got to rebound the ball better. Got out-rebounded by 14 against Oregon State. All right, let's meet the Rams. The Rams like to run, ladies and gentlemen, as we go through the scouting report for VCU. Could be a really, really high-scoring game. So a little history. Everybody remembers VCU because Shaka Smart, who's now the head coach at Texas, was the head coach for the Rams. Had a lot of success, was a darling of the postseason. I've used that phrase a lot. Had some Cinderella moments. And Shaka Smart ended up as the head coach at Texas, who a lot of people are picking to come out of their region and upset Michigan because Michigan's a little banged up themselves. So VCU is a very, very good defensive team. They've got a similar style to what the Rams had played under Shaka Smart under now head coach Mark Rhodes. He was an assistant for Smart, and now the head coach runs the same style of play. As a result, VCU 12th in the country in defensive efficiency. Oregon, though, is 16th in offensive efficiency this year. But the Ducks have not yet seen a team with that high of a defensive efficiency rating. For example, Colorado was in the top 40, I think, when they played the Ducks at the time. And so, this is the best defensive team that the Ducks will see. And a couple numbers, and it's because of the press, but it's also because they're just good on defense. VCU is 6th in the country in steals, 9.44 per game. And they're pretty darn good in block shots. 4th in the nation in block shots, 5.44 per contest. Now, the Ducks in years past, Jordan Bell, Chris Boucher, those guys led the Ducks to some of the higher blocking totals we've ever seen. This is a good number, though. Now, they do not, however, perform particularly well on offense. They're 117th in offensive efficiency, the Rams are. Ducks are 76th in defensive efficiencies. Coach Altman would like to see that climb up a little bit. It has gone down over the last few weeks. So their offense numbers have ticked up. Defense numbers were much higher. But then the Ducks gave up 50% shooting in, I believe, 4 of the last 6 games at least that Oregon played. So the defensive efficiency for Oregon's been dropping. So this could be a strength on strength. They're great on defense. Oregon's great on offense. Something's going to give. I think it may end up being a high-scoring game. If the Ducks can get out and run against their press, could end up being a high-scoring game. The Rams finished 2nd in the Atlantic 10. They lost St. Bonaventure in the A-10 tourney title game, though the last regular season matchup against them, the Rams did win. So 2 really good teams out of the A-10. But they, meaning the Rams, have one of the best players, I think, in the country, and he was the player of the year in the Atlantic 10 Conference, Nashawn Highland. 19.4 points per game. He led that conference in scoring. He also had near 5 rebounds, a little over 2 assists. He averaged 2 steals per game. Led the conference in most three-pointers made at 2.9 per game. And I'll tell you what, just looking at the numbers, and I'm the first to say that I have not seen VCU play this year. I got to do that this week. I'm diving in this week. He's got numbers like Chris Duarte. You talk about the 19 points per game. You talk about leading the conference in three-pointers made per game, leading the conference in steals at 2 per game. That's very similar to Chris Duarte. Duarte was in the top 2 in steals per game all season long. He's been in the top 5 in scoring in the Pac-12. Different conference, but, you look at those numbers, and it's like, man, all right. Interesting. I think this is a good response from Benjamin. He says, late response, I'm interested in the Eastern Washington-Kansas game. Kansas could be short on players. I agree. And I think Eastern Washington's good. Coach said it when Eastern Washington was on Oregon's schedule. It was like, they're going to win their conference, and they're very experienced. That team under Shante Leggins is full of experienced players for Eastern Washington. I think that's a good pick there, Benjamin. Now, one thing that I've noticed, though, in looking at the numbers, too, with VCU, the Rams commit over 18 fouls a game. Some of that's that press, right? It's the style of play. They want to get after you. They're going to take some risks. 18 fouls a game. That's one of the highest fouls per game averages in the nation. And on the year, they committed 467 fouls, which ranks them 267th among all Division I teams. How many teams are there in Division I right now? Over 300, I think, for basketball. So, yeah, this is a team that gets after it in that regard. One meeting all time between Oregon and VCU. The 2014-15 season, It was at the Barclays Center. Was the only meeting between Oregon and VCU. Now, Texas head coach Shaka Smart was the VCU coach. Mark Rhodes was an assistant for Smart, and he's now the head coach. That's the only meeting between Oregon and VCU was in that 14-15 season at the Barclays Center when the Ducks made one of their East Coast trips back there. Steven says, we sure do need Dana's magic now. Always done his best late in the season. Continue to say this team has talent, but they need to gel. I agree. I totally agree with that. You know, I think maybe this week of practice leading up to Indianapolis now, as the Ducks are heading out to Indy today, I believe. Yeah, it's going to be something to see if they can put all the pieces together. I will say, Oregon's been garnering a lot of national attention, rightfully so. A lot of national attention on being underseeded, on having a favorable matchup, and maybe they can, if you can stop Luka Garza in the second round, you're going to move on. But the Ducks got to take care of VCU first. I think there's a lot of things that could line up well for Oregon. And I'll say this. Dane Allman always seems to piece it together and figure out a way in the tournament, doesn't he? So we'll see. We'll see as the brackets are now set. But there's only one important bracket, and it's from our friend the Duck. Complete with crayons, Sour Patch Kids. Didn't even need to fill out the entire bracket. The Duck just circled Oregon in green crayon. And then I got to say, I'm impressed with his handwriting. The E does need a little bit of work. But the fact that he got it this far to even write Oregon, I think that's pretty darn good handwriting by the Duck. It's better than my handwriting. I think that's a win. And so to the Duck, we're thinking about you, buddy. We're thinking about you. All right, there's the scouting report. There's the bracket breakdown. When we come back, we're going to hear from the head man, Dane Altman. It is March Madness Monday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
May I take your order?
Can I get the spicy chicken sandwich, please?
The spicy chicken is an excellent choice, sir. And to drink?
Whatever's fine.
Oh, may I make a beverage pairing recommendation this evening?
Sure.
If we are feeling especially bold tonight, sir, I would recommend the Mountain Dew with that. It's bravely unrestrained with a very alive aroma that pairs wonderfully with your spicy chicken. It's followed by a hint of zesty citrus flavor.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
I'm sure you already know this, sir, but remember to appreciate the nose first by giving the Mountain Dew a little swirl to relieve volatilize it.
What?
To change the flavor compounds and activate your taste buds to get them fully primed for that chicken sandwich.
It's delicious.
Now you're getting the hang of it. The muscular flavor-charged characteristics of Mountain Dew make for an absolutely epic mouthfeel when paired with spicy cuisine. It is quite on point, sir.
Dude, it's a perfect match. Like they were made for each other.
So true, so true.
When you want to make good food bolder and bold food better, do the Dew.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics. This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
All right, everybody in the car, let's go.
What are we gonna do first when we get there, Mom? Go for a hike?
Sure.
What about canoeing? Can we go canoeing too?
I don't see why.
How long does it take to get to the forest?
It's not that far, sweetie.
Are we there yet?
Yep, we're here.
Already?
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
They say that car crashes happen in slow motion. The reality is that crashes happen fast. There's no time to think and no time to check if your child is in the right car seat. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your kids in the right seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Get more info at safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Back on Nugget Cider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joy Mack inside the Country Financial Studio. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us today. If I could, it's time to actually give a little credit where credit is due, and I'm going to let him give himself some credit. Mitchell Lee is back in the OSN studio. Mitchell Lee is a self-proclaimed bracketologist, but I can now report that Mitchell Lee is not just self-proclaimed. I'm proclaiming him as a bracketologist. Those of you who listen to the broadcast for football, basketball, women's basketball, everything else, Mitchell's always back in studio for us, doing your Carl's Jr. scoreboard, everything else. Mitchell, this year, am I correct in my point that you were more accurate in your seedings than Joe Lunardi and Jerry Palm this year?
Wasn't even close.
Hey! This guy's on our team. I just want everybody to know that. This guy's on our team. Okay, Mitchell, I'm putting you on the spot. The Ducks get to the Sweet 16 if what happens?
If Luka Garza gets in foul trouble in the first half.
Okay, I like that.
I think that's a really big aspect there because Garza might win National Player of the Year. He's really good.
Also, for those of you who are watching on the show, it's like the voice of God. It's like me and Scott are just like looking at the ceiling, like, oh, where's that voice coming from? Mitchell Lee back in the OSN studio on the radio side. All right, Mitchell, we'll hear more coming up. It's my favorite day of sports radio because it's just so much fun to go through and do all of this with everybody. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Coach Altman, he met with the media and is right after the selection. So he met with them yesterday, went through the report and what they're thinking. Now, you'll hear some of it. He's going to be asked about certain things and say, hey, well, we got to get to him tomorrow because they spent all night and today getting ready for VCU. Coach Altman on Selection Sunday talking with the media.
I know this has been a interesting year, and does it feel satisfying to get here and hear your name called on the board? And it's been 2 years since we've had a tournament, just being able to enjoy the moment.
Oh, absolutely. No, I feel great for the guys. We've got a lot of guys in the locker room and that haven't experienced the NCAA tournament. And so I'm excited for them. It's been a long year, since last year when they canceled last year's tournament, and felt bad for Anthony Mathis and Peyton and Shakur, who, didn't get to play in their tournament, but we're getting to play. We're excited about it. And so, the guys are excited. They haven't experienced, so they don't know what they're missing, but I'm sure over the next few days, they'll realize what a big deal it is.
Just a quick look. These guys are top 5 in the country in blocks and steals. I think they're 12th in KenPom's defensive efficiency. And those are numbers I assume will get your attention. Do you know much beyond that? And whether you do or don't, is that going to get your attention, those kind of numbers?
Yeah, I don't know anything about him. I haven't seen him play. So, it'll be an interesting week getting ready. We'll start tonight and, make sure we get a look at him. VCU, when Shaka got it going, they were always pressing and running. So I'm sure it'll be a very athletic team that'll get after us.
Dana, you mentioned guys getting their first taste of an NCAA tournament. What kind of conversations are you going to have with those players, or if you had them already, about kind of what to expect, come the end of next week?
No, we haven't spent a lot of time talking about them. We will this week. We've got plenty of time till Saturday to talk about what to expect. But no, we've been trying to win a conference regular season title. We wanted to win the tournament title. We were not successful. So, now it's back to work, and, tomorrow we'll start getting ready for VCU.
Dana, obviously so much in the last year has been so unique and different than anything we've had before. And this trip to Indianapolis to be in one spot to play the tourney is going to be unique too. So what are you just expecting out of, I guess, not really a bubble experience, but in a way it's not what you're used to for sure.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect. This is the first time ever anything like this has been attempted, or we're trying to do it. So it is going to be, just a unique situation for all the coaches, for all the players, to go and experience. So, I hope our guys are excited about that challenge. It isn't our typical NCAA tournament where, we've got a site where 8 teams go and you try to make it to the Sweet 16. It's just going to be very different.
Are you a believer in sometimes a loss in a conference tournament can kind of reset things and kind of let you hammer home the keys for your team going into the tournament? Can you turn that loss to Oregon State into a positive like that?
Oh, Matt, every team's different. The 3 years we were fortunate enough to win the tournament, 2 of them we went to Sweet 16, the other one we went to Elite 8, so those were all pretty good years. And, I told the guys we've had some disappointing losses going into the tournament, and the guys have responded. And so, like I said, every team's different. How this team responds will be totally up to them. We had a spirited practice today. I don't know what our travel plans will be. We haven't been sent that yet, but I think we're supposed to travel tomorrow. So be a long week waiting for Saturday, but we're going to have to practice a little bit. We've got some things we got to iron out. We didn't play well in the tournament, so we're going to have to get some things worked on.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask about travel schedule. So it sounds like you got to get some more details on that. But yeah, so when you get down to the nitty gritty in these few days between the games, what are some things you really feel like you got to clean up in order to have the success you want in this tournament?
Well, the board play, definitely. We got to block and go get the ball, and our block out percentages have not been good. We had some bad switches against Oregon State, which cost us easy baskets. Same thing against Arizona State. We just weren't sharp on our switches. We weren't sharp on our rotations. And then our ball movement, was we took an unbelievable amount of threes off the dribble, which is not a high percentage shot for anybody. We just can't do that. Our shot selection wasn't good. Our ball movement wasn't what it had been. We played 3 really good games to win the championship: Arizona, UCLA, and Oregon State in the final of regular season game. And I thought our ball movement was okay against Arizona State, but it definitely wasn't against Oregon State. And Oregon State had something to do with that. They defensively were very sharp, and offensively we weren't.
Dan, what are your thoughts on I realize VCU is obviously one at a time, et cetera, but thoughts on the bracket in your region as a whole? Because you've got 3 opponents in the region who you've played before, and that's mildly unusual to have Eastern, USC, and Mizzou on the same region. That's outside of common, conference opponents. That's actually kind of unusual to have 3 common opponents in the same region.
Yeah, I mean, we are going to see, hopefully, if we can move along, maybe some people. But again, you're right. That's a long way away, and you worry about VCU because there is no next round without that. But I know Iowa's a really good team, and Grand Canyon, I haven't seen them, but Iowa's a very veteran team, very good offensive team. If we're fortunate enough to win that first game, they'll obviously present a lot of challenges.
How different are you expecting it to be from what was ordinary before?
It'll be different, James, because when we went on the road for the NCAA tournaments, we'd go out to eat. We'd take the team out to a restaurant and eat, and families were around. So I let them spend time with their families. I wanted them to enjoy the experience. We didn't lock them up that much. There were times where we hoped they focused and were worried all about basketball, but we went out to eat. I wanted the guys to enjoy the cities and eat at a good restaurant, and I wanted their parents to be part of the experience, their families, and all that will be taken away. We won't be going out to eat. Everything will be brought in, and we can't allow any families to see them, hopefully for a few weeks. As soon as we're done, I'll let them see their families, but we hope not to be done for a while.
Is there anything you learned or can take from the Vegas experience that'll help you in terms of just managing this, being in a bubble for an extended time like this?
Not really, Rob. I mean, it hopefully our guys, will get a feel. Everybody had their own room. Everybody was separated. You see the Kansas and Virginia go down, and it really, it hit our guys. Duke, it like, oh my gosh, we got to be really careful here, and so I could see when, that happened, our guys took a step back and like, man, we really got to be careful. And so, hopefully they continue that. We came back to Eugene, obviously, and I think the guys have been really diligent of not going out, not seeing anybody. Told them that, we've got to still continue to be really careful, and I hope they're doing a great job of that.
That is the toughest thing. I've been around this team a long time, and on all these trips, Coach Altman does make it a true family experience. You know, he wants the families to be a part of it, and it's just not the way that it is right now. Hopefully we're getting closer, though. Hopefully we're getting closer. It'll be a unique tournament, and let's hope the Ducks are, well, all very familiar with the insides of their hotel rooms in Indianapolis by the time things are all said and done, because that means the Ducks will be there for a while. We're going to hear from Eugene Omarui. The Ducks will play VCU, the 7 versus 10 in the West region, 6:30 pregame on Saturday. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to hear from Eugene Omarui after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Okay, man, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. Cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Show the world that you're tougher than tough. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Is that a faucet running?
That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Oregon and VCU coming up Saturday. They're the last game of the first round, tipping off just around 7 o'clock Pacific time. Oregon against the Rams of Virginia Commonwealth University. Did the scouting report earlier. If you missed it, subscribe to the Oregon Sports Network podcast. Go back, watch the show on the GoDucks YouTube or on the GoDucks Facebook. Every head coach interview this year is always brought to you by our friends at the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with cancer care you can count on. Let's hear from Eugene Omarui now. Look, Ducks did not finish the Pac-12 tournament the way they wanted. Eugene Omarui is the first to say it as he talked with the media and caught up with him for a few questions yesterday.
Eugene, yeah, guys obviously didn't get the result you wanted in Vegas. Were you able to bounce back mentally and kind of enjoy and appreciate this moment and start to look forward to the tournament?
Yeah, it's a big moment, especially for me, and I know it's a big moment for the guys also, with a few of us not being there before. But now it's just time to lock in and get ready to go there and do what we got to do.
Hey, Eugene. The significance of this moment, I mean, it's been 2 years since we've even had a bracket to work on and you guys take play. So the significance of all the pauses and all the protocols, and this is like the great reward. This is what you guys came to school to do, no, right?
For sure. It's a big moment. We wanted this from the beginning of the year, and just for us to be here right now, it's a big moment. We didn't finish off Vegas the way we wanted it to, but now it's just time to refocus in, and it's a bigger prize. So we know we got to be locked in.
Eugene, your reaction to the matchup with VCU in the first round, if you know anything about them, they don't have any common opponents, so it wouldn't be somebody you've seen on tape or anything this season. But if you've seen any of the metrics, they have one of the best defenses in the country. Any reaction to the VCU matchup?
I don't know nothing about them. Just got to wait to see some film on tonight and tomorrow and just get it going, learning their system and just learning how we're going to guard it and just go out there and compete with the guys.
James kind of asked my question, Eugene, but they like to play an up and down style as well. Is that what you guys want to do as well? Play up and down as quickly as you can?
We want to play the style that coach wants us to play, and just going out there to compete at the highest level is what our goal is. Whatever the opportunities, whatever the game gives us, we're going to go out there and compete, whether it's fast, slow, taking our time, just making reads when we get into the game.
That's because you don't really talk with the media. A couple thoughts yesterday. So now the Ducks have gotten all their film together. I imagine that it was a very long night for Patrick Scully in charge of video for Oregon basketball. Probably didn't sleep. In fact, I know that he didn't sleep. Patrick Scully getting everything together, getting ready now for travel day as they will head to Indianapolis. They are heading to Indianapolis today. Ducks will then go through their protocols, procedures, practice a little bit before they tip off at just before 7 o'clock on TNT on Saturday. And it will be a 6:30 pregame for us right here on the Oregon Sports Network. Looking forward to it. Hey, meanwhile, pivoting now, those of you who are live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, we do not yet know the women's basketball selection, as the Ducks will find out their fate at 4 o'clock today. If you're tuning in later on for one of our broadcasts on our Oregon Sports Network affiliate stations, then you may know and head to the Oregon women's basketball Twitter. I would imagine that the Ducks will be having a reaction to the bracketing, and we will react to the seeding for you tomorrow. That's the plan on Duck Insider anyway. When we come back, how about celebrating a national championship? It is actually unbelievable sometimes how good the Oregon track and field team is. Another national title when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hi, you've reached Toyota. This is Jan.
Can I save on a new Toyota?
Yes, with great deals through March 31st at participating dealers.
I'm really into mystery podcasts lately for those long drives.
Well, imagine yourself in a Camry when a celebrity sleuth solves the perfect crime. Or camping in a RAV4 when a shocking theft turns a city on its head. Or off-roading in a Tacoma when trouble follows a big city cop to the country. Spoiler alert, it was the butler.
Toyota, let's go places.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield IMG College.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Hundo P. Hundo P. Adjective. Short for being 100% sure or certain. As in, if we get a puppy, I'll Hundo P always walk it.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Today's show brought to you by our friends at North Fork Public House, northforkeugene.com, and by Hoodoo. Every Thursday, you can ski and ride from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. for only $25. See you tomorrow at Hoodoo, GoDucks.com. Man, I always tell you about the amount of passes for passes that our friends at Hoodoo give away on every postgame show for Oregon basketball. A lot of free skiing going on thanks to their GoDucks at Hoodoo.com email. And GoDucks.com, you see it advertised sometimes. That's what I'm getting at. And, man, it's a lot of free skiing. A lot of free skiing. Championships. Don't you love when we get to sit here and go, Oregon won a national championship? Oregon track and field does it again. The men winning the team title on the strength of 6 individual champions. Men of Oregon won the 2021 NCAA Indoor Championship Saturday afternoon out in Arkansas. 79 points. That's how many the Ducks scored in the meet. The second highest score in meet history and the highest total since 1994. National Indoor title is the 4th under head coach Robert Johnson. Good for his, get this, 14th NCAA championship overall. Congratulations to Robert Johnson. Those individual winners, by the way, in the 60 meters, Mekhi Williams, Charlie Hunter in the 800 meters, Cole Hawker in the mile, a meet record, by the way, Cole Hawker in the 3,000 meters, Cole Hawker in the 800 meters, Cole Hawker. He just keeps winning titles. Man, I am stunned sometimes with how well Cole Hawker and the Ducks have performed. Don't forget about the DMR and the Natty, too. Women also saw Kemba Nelson win the 60 meters in a collegiate record time. And how about the freshman, Emmanuel AMJ, triple jump title? Triple jump. And you'll hear Robert Johnson talking about Emmanuel here coming up in just a moment. For the women of Oregon, Kemba Nelson, that was a collegiate record time of 7.05 on our way to victory in the 60 meters. Robert Johnson, pretty good things to say.
Robert, is this how you drew it up?
Ooh, no, probably not quite. I would have never, or I didn't come in here thinking that 79 was within our grasp. I had us in the high 58s, low 60s, and to have just phenomenal performances there, all within a span of 5, 6, 8, 10 minutes there, with the triple jump being the first event. Then you come right back with the mile, then you hit right back with a 60. So just 30 points, just right there, just bang, 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 bang. And so just really good stuff there in a hurry. But then I had to calm down and relax because then LSU went on a tear there in the quarter, and then as well in the hurdles.
Robert, second highest point total for any team. You matched the great 94 Arkansas team with 6 championships. First team ever to sweep 8 mile 3,000. I mean, I could go on and on, but I mean, just how does this compare even to like the, that amazing group back in 15 and some of the others?
Yeah, so we scored 72 or 74 there in New Mexico, and I don't know if that was 14 or 15, and that came from a very talented distance squad with some points there in the throws. And so this one is even more sweeter because it's more of a team effort. We hit on all cylinders all across the board. Name an event, and we scored in it. And so that was impressive about this team compared to that team. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the job that Coach Taylor is doing with Mekhi and Gaston and the group of sprinters that we have that are back home, as well as Coach Thomas, winning the 8, the mile, the 3K, the DMR. Those are holy grail things there in the distance running community. And Oregon has a distance running tradition. So just a great job by our coaching staff and Coach Henson there with Max Vollmer. Just all around points. You name it, and that's kind of what we built this team to be. Well-rounded. We're not going to be strong. We're going to be strong in everything that we do, and that's a direct reflection of our coaching staff.
And how special is it that obviously for the championship that was going to be in Albuquerque last year, people wouldn't have known about EJ. People wouldn't have known about Mekhi. And these guys come out and score 20 points today.
Yeah, we talked a lot about how are we going to be better the following year, even though I thought we were going to be on the starting point, the edge of doing something special last year because we had some really talented kids and we just wanted to get to the meet. They weren't as heralded as they were going into this year. And so I thought we were going to be special last year and surprise a lot of people. And now you really get a chance because there's a little bit more of a buildup in that process. So just lots of good guys and lots of team performances there. So really proud.
Coach, were there any performances in particular that really surprised you today?
Yeah. You don't understand how hard it is to have 6 individual national champions. Usually you nickel and dime these championships, and to have 6 individual champions is pretty special. Cole there in the 3K, We were going to pull him out there because we just didn't know what LSU was going to do, because they could max out at 66 points if they won the 4x4. But we couldn't do that because the 4x4 is after the 3K. So, and then for him to go from being pulled off the line because we only needed 77 points to get to 67, and then to see him come from behind there. Good group of training group there. Those guys, Cole, Coop, they train together, they push each other, and just proud of the way they work. That's a good budding rivalry, and I'm glad they're on our team there. And there was only one guy in the field that could beat the nation's leader going into the meet, and he was on our team.
Robert, speaking of maximum flexibility, what did you know about the way Emmanuel was training that the rest of the country saw today? Because I know that one probably means a lot to you, obviously, because you always have your fingerprints on what the jumpers are doing. I mean, what was going on behind the scenes that we saw it come out today?
Well, once upon a time, I was a triple jumper, so that's always going to be a favorite of mine because I did that myself, so I know the things that go into it. But Emmanuel is a great kid, and it just shocks me that he's a freshman. And I don't know if many people know, but he just got here in January. He's a mid-year transfer for us, and he's been absolutely fantastic. Great personality, great team guy, which is most important if you're going to be at Oregon, is being a team guy. Just comes in with a smile on his face every day, works hard, does everything we ask. He's just a great person to be around. You've heard of energy suckers and energy givers. He's definitely an energy giver whenever he walks into the room, and just couldn't be more proud of him and staying the course, because he's even helped me. My French is getting better and better every day. I learn some new words every day. So he's just a good kid, and glad we have him in our program, and we got some more years to see. But to see what he did today, I wouldn't have expected that. I thought that we could definitely get to probably 1650, 1665 if he really hit one. But to go 1726 and have the collegiate lead, that's big time. That guy's going to be around for a while.
What did he do, Robert? What enabled him to get that done?
Well, partly we changed some things in his approach. So early in the year, we were just basically jumping off of 8 and 10 steps. And then, of course, we're at practice probably about 3 weeks out, and he wants to go to his outdoor approach. And I'm telling him, we're probably not in that type of condition, that type of shape yet. So let's compromise and not go to 14 steps, but let's go to 12. And so that's the difference between the meets that we had before and then this meet. Just another 2 steps in his approach. And then, of course, just more understanding of him. We've been working on some things there in the first phase. We've been working on some things there in his third phase. And then some of those things came to fruition today, and he actually put it down. Like, you could kind of see it coming there in round, I want to say it was round 3. He had a big jump, but he messed some things up there in the third phase. And then the plan was to go and jump in round 4, which is when he got his winning mark, to pass round 5, and then be ready, because there's always these last jump heroics there in the last round, and you got to be ready to respond. So best series of his life.
Best series of any college freshman's life ever.
That's a way to put it as well.
Man, that's cool. That's really cool. I saw Steven triple jump 3 personal bests in a row, and you heard Robert Johnson just breaking it down right there. That's awesome. A national championship for Oregon track and field. Now, maybe some of you have seen the celebration video, but this is a cool tradition. We'll play it for you here for those of you who can see it. You'll hear Coach Johnson and some of the celebration a little bit, because the Bowerman Tower.
We're going to celebrate the 2021 Men's Indoor National Champion Oregon Ducks.
Is going to be lit up now.
Every time we win a national championship, we're going to light this doggone tower up.
Isn't that awesome? I mean, just this is what it's all about, and that tower being lit up. You probably saw some of the videos, some of the images. That's cool, man. That's really cool. Congratulations to Oregon track and field, the men's indoor national champions. Tracktown USA. Tracktown USA, the Division I track and field indoor national champs with 6 individual titles. Absolutely incredible. When we come back, a ton of other victories for Oregon over the weekend. Your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill is going to be closer to the Cafe Yum 6-minute drill. 4-minute offense? Something like that on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans. When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer. I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day. I want to be a bike that races around the country. I want to be a bench on a forest trail. When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here in the Country Financial studio. It's time for your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. And how about Oregon baseball? This was so awesome. So on Friday, the Ducks blanked the Beavers with a 7-0 win. Tanner Smith with a 4 RBI, including one huge triple performance, by the way. So now this was cool. Todd Miles from Oregon Sports Information got this note. In 3 Friday games this season, Tanner Smith has combined to hit .462, 6 for 13, with 2 home runs, 10 ribbies, 2 triples, and a double and 3 runs scored. Robert Alstrom, an Oregonian, 7 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts, only 3 hits. This is another great one. Alstrom in 5 career starts against ranked teams, 1.78 ERA, 30 1/3 innings pitched. He's given up just 25 hits, 6 earned runs, 5 walks, and he struck out 37. Saturday, Colin Kafka and Andrew Mosiello combined for a 4-hit shutout to lead to a 3-0 win. And it's the second shutout in as many days against the Beavers at the time. Then on Sunday, the Ducks fell 3-1 in the series finale, but it was not because of the pitching. Brett Walker was really good. Had a no-no through 5. It faced the minimum in all but 2 innings that he was out there. If it wasn't for a 3-run 5th, Brett Walker was just lights out, and the Ducks probably would have won 1-0. So they didn't get the series sweep, but they got the series win, and they are into the top 25 in pretty much every poll now. And Mark Wasikowski, even though the Ducks didn't get the win Sunday, it was a good baseball game, and I think a happy coach with a series win on the road.
It was a competitive game, you know. I mean, good pitching on both sides. Brett Walker, I thought, pitched very, very well, and we couldn't get him the win, which was disappointing. Isaac Aon out of relief was exceptional as well. Really proud of the way that we competed overall on the weekend. Was disappointed that the 3rd game slipped away from us. I think we had our chances, and we just didn't come through, and we needed to. Overall, you know, a 2-1 weekend was a good weekend. We had a chance to finish it off. Couldn't do that. That'll stick with us, but proud of the way the baseball team played this weekend, and look forward to getting back to practice this week and continuing to improve for Pac-12 play starting next weekend.
Mark Wasikowski now getting ready for Arizona State in town at 4 o'clock, the first pitch on Friday. The Ducks taking on the Sun Devils to start Pac-12 play. Softball, 2 run rule wins on Saturday. One of them was against Oregon State. And on Sunday, the Ducks run-ruled Sac State. Alyssa Brito homered again, so congratulations to Oregon softball. And on Friday, women's soccer had a 1-1 tie at Pape Field, and they did not feel great about it. But then on Sunday, they bounced back, and they beat Arizona 1-0 on Jordan Warmdahl's late goal, 85th minute for Jordan Warmdahl, and she talked about the goal and the strategy down the stretch for Oregon women's soccer.
Yeah, we definitely wanted to, exploit, their back line and the weaknesses that we saw back there and get in behind them and get them turned towards their own goal. And so, going fast and direct was just the game plan for today, and not necessarily our DNA, but something that worked today, and we got the win. So that's what we got to do.
And it worked out, as the Ducks are now 3-3-2 overall with a couple of really close ones. I feel like the Ducks could probably have at least 1 or 2 more victories. It's going to be a good finish to the season. They might be knocking on the NCAA tournament door. Coach Graham Abel talked about that late goal and also a little bit of how he felt post-game after getting a victory on Sunday.
Yeah, we knew that once we knew that just in terms of how they played, that they got real stretched in between their midfield line and their back line. So we felt as though if we could put the ball on their back line quickly and then take advantage of the space in front of their back line, and that's what happened. Lexi's picked it up. And then, I think Ali pulled it down. Lexi's picked it up after that. And then, she's laid it in for Jordan. And, talk about, I think, what was it, the 82nd, 83rd, 84th minute or something like that. The pressure right there and, no pressure at all from Jordan. She's put the ball on the back of the net.
That's a pretty happy coach right there, huh? Graham Abel and Jordan Warmdahl talking about the win for Oregon soccer. Women's tennis swept Colorado and beat Utah for the team's 3rd consecutive win. They're now 9-2 overall, 3-1 in Pac-12 play for Courtney Nagel and the women's tennis squad. They're looking pretty good right now. That is your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. Cafe Yum restaurants throughout Oregon and Washington serving Northwest-inspired catering and takeout for your next meal of any kind, really, menu at cafeyum.com. What a weekend. You get baseball and softball both beating the Beavs. Basketball didn't finish the way they'd like, but they're still heading to March Madness yet again. You get a track and field national championship, for crying out loud. And we've got a whole nother week of this in front of us heading toward both men's and women's NCAA tournaments. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, Oregon women's basketball will hear their NCAA selection tonight. And then the Ducks will, we hope, make a long run in San Antonio. Hoping for the Ducks to become experts on Indianapolis and San Antonio this year. That's the plan. I'm Joey Mack, Scott Phillips, and Mitchell Lee. We're going to talk to you tomorrow as we talk all kinds of bracket madness. See you then.
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree.
It's huge!
Is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing.
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things